At first, I was going to talk about things that I think could help the black community. Like, we have to get through all of the stuff that we've been taught that's been passed down by generation to generation. We have to heal. Initially, that was going to be my goal, is to bring up, you know, ways that I think that we could have a compromise. But no matter what, it's always going to be two groups of everything. Everything always has to be split into two. It's never going to be ever less than that. So in terms of black culture, I don't really like the division, because I feel like if y'all really believe that we're at war, then you would understand that we don't have time for this and we need to wait. But I feel like y'all don't really think that we're actually at war. Y'all just like arguing about who's better, right? I understand the need for everybody to feel accepted, cared about, loved. I get it. So lately I've been hearing the conversations about whether or not you should date single moms, and my answer is, if you have to ask that question, no. You you specifically shouldn't. I'm a single mom, and my kids have different fathers. I don't want some guy trying to date me because he feels like I'm easy prey or I'm looking for a father for my kids. My kids have fathers. If I'm dating someone, the guy's supposed to be there for me. Now, if their fathers weren't in their life, then I would need to be able to say, you can only be in my house if you're willing to put my kids' interest above your own. So they have fathers that are telling people that they want to be involved, even though they never did. Somehow it was my fault that we broke up, right? And that's the general consensus in black community, is that it's my fault, something I was supposed to have done. I took it and I put up with it and I deal with it. And I still tried to like do stuff in the community, but every time I talk to one of y'all, it's always, well, why aren't you still with the fathers? My point for this is because I've been hearing a lot of stuff about single moms, and I said that the kids don't get to suffer. I get what y'all are saying. Y'all are saying that these were women that were all wayward and they went out and picked guys that they knew would not have been able to take care of the kids, or they knew wouldn't have taken care of the kids. I hear you. I get it. Does that happen? Yes. But what I'm saying is that there's other factors that go into making a person willing to do that. Who would willingly give birth to a kid for a guy that they know doesn't want to stay there, that doesn't want to raise their kids? Hopefully, they would have been thinking about their children before they even actually did all of that with the guy, with the father. There are some women that knew better and chose better because they're angry. I get it. But something happened to them in their life to make them angry. I think that, you know, if we're to really seriously want to have a conversation about out of wedlock births, it might surprise you to know that I don't approve of it either. I don't like it. I tried to avoid it, but I was overruled. Everybody around me took up for them. Of course, because they had emotions and all of this, whatever. Doesn't matter, because their emotions matter more than any kids we might have, any future for them. And somehow it's my fault, because I should have, me, specifically me, I should have taken hormones in my body so that they can just have all of this sex that they wanted. I don't get why everybody's so sex crazed. I'm not shaming you for wanting to sleep with women, but what I'm saying is, if you want to so bad that you throw caution to the wind, like, you shouldn't even be in these situations. And yes, yes, I am a person that believes that, even with two kids. Yep, because I didn't put myself in that situation. They did. And then it's so offensive to ask them to do things to raise these children, because I need too much money to raise kids. Well, guess what? These other races, their kids have money. Ours don't. I'm tired of men telling me that I'm on some touchy-feely stuff when I say that we should, be able to get along. I don't understand what's so wrong with that. Why? Why can't, like, what's the thing? Why is it so wrong? Right? Everybody has stories about people who hurt them on purpose. My question is, why do y'all think that happens? I have a theory. I think it happens because there are certain titles that people in our community think that mean that you can do whatever you want. So when y'all put a ring on somebody's finger, if it's a husband or a wife, they don't believe that that means that they should care about that person. What they believe is that the person should care about them. So for the guy, just as the most used example, there's so many other things that guys do, but whatever. The most used example about what angers people about black men is that they cheat on people and they make kids that they don't take care of. That is placed on the backs of men. That was always your job, according to nature. So other races of men, their women answer to them because it's less likely for them to fight. You know what I noticed about other groups? Because with my personality, I talk to so many people and I see so many different cultures. The thing is, they don't have a reason to fight. When men of those cultures come together, they're talking about their experience of all of the same things that they wanted or saw or thought about. And so what happens if a man is different? Well, he's kicked out of that group and then he he becomes like a skateboarder or something to say that, yes, hey, black people, I'm all creative and fun, so can y'all let me in? And we do. So then his parents disown him, and now this dude is now all of our problem all together. I'm not saying that we should just like leave him out in the cold. He is in fact a human being. But what I'm saying is, if he's going to come over here, he needs to be part of a culture. We have to define a culture for him to be a part of. And up until this point, we haven't. Nobody can appropriate anything that we haven't defined for ourselves. If we don't like it, we have to learn how to speak eloquently to describe what we don't like and how we don't like it, so we can teach the other races what they need to know about us. That would make life easier, because then the stereotypes that we don't like and we respond to, the stereotypes that get us shot, they would people would probably shoot us less, is my hope, right? The reason I say that is because if they know what it is that they're doing, to them it seems outlandish and out of the blue, very sudden. It seems bipolar when black people go off because they said a word. Yes, they know the history behind it. Yes, they did it to hurt us. But would you throw your whole life away? I'm a person that screams a lot, so my voice is always hoarse like this. But anyway, would you throw your whole life away to fight because of that word? Sometimes you do, because it's the straw that broke the camel's back. It's not just because of the word. It's because of all of the other things that happened to that person because of when they used to call us that word and it meant something. Right now, if a white person calls me the N-word, I look around because there's no lynch mob coming to get me. There's nothing that they could do but other call me that word, and then I give them their time of silence so that they can realize, okay, so nothing happened. So now back to what we were actually arguing about. Like, are you gonna are you gonna stop trying to bogart your way in front of me in line, or What? Because you called me that name and there's no police out here telling me that I have to let you in front of me. As a matter of fact, like the supervisor of the supermarket was like, you need to let her have her space. So that's why the N word doesn't bother me anymore, because they can't enforce it the way they used to. And that is funny to watch. But anyway, in terms of men, right? Black men. So we've been talking a lot about out of wedlock births, all of this, about how sexually indiscriminate black women are. And my answer to that is that when I say I want the men to lead, what I mean by that is sometimes you have to tell a woman no. I get it. You're tempted. But why do you think in the past that they got married at 18? That's why. So you could have somebody where if you're doing that, you need to tie it to taking care of the woman and then also the baby that could come from that. I don't like, that was a big thing. If you're living in someone else's house, you don't have time to be sleeping with anybody or dating, because you got other bigger things that you need to do. It may not have been just because they're selfish or they're hating. It might have just been because if you're sleeping on somebody's couch, instead of you going out getting job applications and stuff, you're going out getting women. And are you going to move into that woman's house? What if she doesn't have a house and then she gets pregnant and she's moving in to whoever you're laying on the couch of? What if she does have a house and you move in, but it's already hers and she can't enforce that? So the point for that, I understand why our older people got angry if you were sleeping with somebody inside of their house, because you have to do things first to earn it. You have to have your purpose in life. How can you add somebody to your life if you don't have a purpose for it? If you're living in someone else's houses, you have not finished your education. And that's for adults too. So we think about that in terms of 12th grade. But as an adult, when let's say you lose your job at like 41 or something, right? If you have to go back and live with your family, there's something else you're supposed to be learning before you get back out there and you can make it again and you try again. There's another education that you're needing, and so you're not done with education, so you don't have time to date right now, because you have to figure out what you feel, why, what you're going to do going forward. I think that if people who are going through a divorce, right, if they're going through a divorce, I think that they should take a break from dating, because they need to find themselves again. Take out all of the parts of the stuff that you did just to keep the marriage going. Because if you're getting a divorce, it wasn't going well. The people that are still married, they don't have to listen to that. So take some time for yourself and think about, if, like, let's just for instance say if you and your spouse are separating because of a career, like police officers, people who have like shift work, doctors, lawyers, things like that. There's a tendency for the highest paid careers, the reason why they're paid that high is because of the expertise that you need to do such a challenging and demanding job, a job that requires on your feet thinking and flexibility, and you have to literally live that life so that nobody takes anything out of your career. If you're a doctor, we're expecting you to have good eating habits. I don't want to see my doctor specifically laid up on a table getting his arteries unclogged. So it's hard, but that's why we as the public would trust him more if he was living that life, because we would feel like he's an example. Why would I believe him if he's eating, hoagies or something, and I am being told to eat a salad every day, and now he has, he's on the table. Why would I believe that? It shouldn't be so hard to live your life according to what you decided. Oh, why is this side? Yeah, so do y'all see this? This is why. I now understand why I had to have the cream and crack, because y'all have no idea what I had to go through. And I don't know what this little piece was. Anyway, okay, so the point is, people want to be able to make sure that you're doing what you're telling them to do. The advice that you're giving them. Have you tried it? Do you know for a fact that it works? Things like that. Okay, so women. Using the kids against the guy As a child of a divorce, it hurts. I don't want to choose sides. I don't want to be involved. I don't even need to know. Why do I need to know? I'm not supposed to know why y'all broke up. Phrase it if you have to tell the kids in terms of how they can use that information going forward. But I do recognize that we as black people, we have our flaws. We aren't perfect. And I understand that. I get it. In terms of the single moms, like, I agree with y'all because if I'm a single mom, I do think that I need a job. Because if you made a decision to have a kid, whether you were married or not, whether the marriage survived or not, it doesn't matter, in my opinion. The result is the same. You need to be able to take care of the kids. Now, I don't know what would happen if we gave dads the right, and I think that we should try it. Give them a chance. They might. People help dads more than they help moms. That is the nature of where we are in society. In society, men are over us. They're more valuable. So let them raise the kids and see if they can handle it. And I'm not wishing them to fail. It might be a beautiful thing if in child support court that the dads got custody first. It might be nice. I would like to see what happens, and my kids, like, their dads are in their lives, so I'm not looking for a come up for them. I need, like, they have dads. They have a mom and a dad. It will be all about me. So I agree with you that you should not be mentoring and tutoring kids of single parents, mom and dads, single parents. And yes, single moms are more prevalent. But the point is, if it's a single parent, you should not have to mentor that kid for free. The problem is, in a divorce, there could have been somebody that compromised, and neither side did. They both wanted to play it to the end. If somebody tried to save the relationship, it wasn't enough for the other person. Whatever the point is, there are still kids now that exist with only one parent. As a culture, this, in my opinion, happens because there's a lot that we have to go outside into the real world and deal with just because of our skin color. So it's hard sometimes to not bring that back home. And I think when I said that we need to give each other the benefit of the doubt every now and then, I'm not talking about like stupid stuff. I mean like big things. And if the person messes up, then they just need to go. And I don't want people to feel played when they have to have a breakup. You did what you were supposed to do. That's all you can do. You're not psychic. Give yourself a break. If there's somebody around you telling you it's your fault, they need to go, because how would they know? Nobody is more qualified to discuss the reason why y'all broke up but you and the spouse. So my point for all of that is let them try. If the dads are upset because they don't get first shots at custody, understand that that's because of how people in the past viewed men. Other men view you as not capable, and they view themselves as not having to. They don't want it. So the point was to make it detrimental for you to divorce in the first place and for you to stay together, because that's what the promise means. It means that no matter what this person does, you're going to try to stay and work it out. However, if that person does not follow those same vows and they think that it's such a challenge to see what else you can put up with, to me, I think it's very telling about what the things are that they choose to use to disrespect the vows. That's who they actually are. They can't hide that anymore. You can mentor kids because they have, like, the same way teachers, if we had people that felt like you shouldn't take care of kids that don't belong to you, we wouldn't have teachers. But it's okay if just as long as the parents are married. Well, why is one of them not staying home to educate the kids on their own? So you could do it. And I said that to say is because that's what I meant. I meant by black men, like, let's say you're married, you have a family, right? And then your friend is not married. He's single, but still successful. Both of you guys have, jobs, and y'all are able to comfortably pay all your bills, right? What's so wrong with those, both of those two people? Like, I'm gonna use this example because they already exist, like the Boys and Girls Club. What's so wrong with those two people going to like a rec center in a disadvantaged neighborhood to talk to the kids, to show them something to make you get out, right? Of that situation. Everybody's not gonna get out because there's not room for everybody to be okay. But that, at least help that kid to survive and go through childhood until they're an adult, and then they can make it. I'm not saying that you have to let single mothers use you, because as a single mother, when I gave birth to my kids, I could afford it. And also, I saved up my own money for maternity leave. And then I also had a job that paid maternity leave. So nobody suffered when I had a kid. And I love being a mom. I was raising my children. So the point for all of that is, if you're the reason why I tell y'all not to date single mothers as a single mom is because they need to be able to get up off their butt and show their kids that if something goes a different way than you planned, that you can bounce back and you have to be responsible. So that's why. If she doesn't have a job and she's looking for a come up, don't. If you feel that single mothers should just be this never ending line of holes waiting for you, don't. Because that hurts the kids. And when you do that, you give the single mom attention, and then they don't have to get a job. They don't have to raise their kids. She has to get up and do what she needs to do. It's the right thing. We need to be able to be self-sufficient because the next guy didn't do it. So when I go into a relationship, my kids are taken care of by me and their fathers. You are there to make my life easier and respect my children, and they will in turn respect you. Unless the guy is just like so horrible, which I wouldn't have around my kids anyway, but unless the guy doesn't deserve respect, your kids should be respecting him because they're supposed to respect adults. Why would you bring somebody around your kids that you don't respect? The point is, this person is supposed to be a reflection of you, and what you say is okay, what you're willing to go through. But the problem is, there are men that jump the line, either through violence or money. And if we as a culture stop being able to be bought, that won't happen. I did go to college. I needed my degree, not to shove it in the face of men, but because I felt like I would be able to use it to help contribute to the children's well-being. I got the degree because I didn't want anybody to treat me horribly because they have to do something for me. I got the degree to help out because maybe I would be able to give back to the community that I grew up in. But that's not always very well received, and I absolutely understand, and I know why. I hadn't given up on them, but apparently it's just not, it doesn't seem like it would be helpful. At least not from me. Maybe somebody else could. Maybe somebody else knows something. They've tapped into a different way to get through to people. But my goal is not to make people feel sad for being, not making the most money. My goal is to show them that they can still have a happy and thriving life, even if they're not the richest person in the world, making the best out of the situation.